to my kitchen. We're gonna make some vegetarian freezer meals today and I'm so excited. Class hasn't started yet, we still have time, but I wanna make sure everybody can see me, everybody can hear me. I'm looking for those thumbs up, put them in the chat so that I know that our audio is working, our video is working. That's obviously important so that you can learn how to make these meals, hear and see everything I'm seeing. So I have my iPad here so that I can talk to you in chat as we get started, but I'd love to know that you can hear me and see me and that everything is working, that technology is on our side today. Please, technology, please be on our side. So hopefully thumbs up. I'll say hi while you're doing that. Continue the thumbs up, no such thing as too many. But I'll say hi to Chef John Andrews from Myrtle Beach. Hey! Karen, Denise, thanks for coming. Chris, Dawn, Heather, Celeste, Vicky, Cheryl, Lavina, Kathleen, Jennifer, Charlotte, Linda, Teresa, Georgia, Patty, Cindy. What's up, guys? Thank you for joining me. It is almost 1 p.m. in Pittsburgh, PA. Can you believe this sunshine? I'll tell you, in Pittsburgh, we don't have a lot of sunshine. There were some days, weeks at the beginning of the year, and I thought, what is that ball in the sky? Does it even exist? Do we ever see it? But it's here for us today. And it looks like you guys can hear me and see me, and technology is cooperating, which I am pumped about. That is a very good sign. Let's see. So I'm gonna say hi in chat, see how everyone is doing. And I'm curious, so feel free to talk in the chat and let me know if you're brand new to freezer meals. Maybe you're a total newbie. You saw an ad on Facebook, on Instagram, and you're like, hey, this lady looks really cool. This lady looks so cool. I'm gonna figure out what these meals are all about. So I wanna know if you're brand new to freezer meals, or maybe you are a super fan. Maybe you have attended other classes of mine. I know people who have followed us since we used to have an old name, way back years and years and years ago, before we were the Family Freezer. We were actually New Leaf Wellness, random fact. But there were people who'd be like, I remember when you were New Leaf Wellness and I read your blog. And I'm like, wait a minute, I used to blog? I don't do that anymore. But anyway, my point is that I'm curious if you are brand new to freezer meals, or if you are kind of a super fan, or if you are, maybe you just started making meals. I wanna get a sense of your experience with freezer meals, your knowledge, because this class is for you. That's why I'm here, to help you. So I'm really gonna cater it to your level of experience. So let's see. Marcy says she's done some of the freezer meals once. That's great. I always say, once you make them once, you'll get hooked. It's really the hardest meal is meal number one. If you can make meal number one, you're like, I got this. This is so amazing. My life is gonna be so easy. So let's see. Okay, Karen, been watching since last year. Love your videos and your meals. Amazing, Karen, thank you. Thanks for coming again and again and being interested in the recipes. I appreciate that. Laura Ruth, just getting started. Have my first in the crock pot right now. I love that. Oh my gosh, you get to eat it today. That's so great. Joyce, this is my first class. Oh, Joyce, get ready. Your life is gonna change. This is it. Cheryl says, can you make these meals vegan? Some of them are vegan, some of them are not vegan. I actually included cheese. There was a time when I was writing a vegetarian cookbook. So my background is not vegetarian. My family is not vegetarians. We're meat eaters, but we like to mix things up, and just having a food blog and food business, I obviously like to do vegetarian recipes too. And there was a time when I was writing vegetarian cookbook for people. They really wanted freezer meals that were vegetarian. And I said, do you want them vegan? Do you want no cheese? Do you really want to get this as clean as possible? And everyone was like, no, if I can't have the meat, then please give me the cheese. So some of these recipes include cheese, but you can pick and choose. You don't have to make all 12 meals. Sometimes people will be like, oh, I don't really like that one recipe. It's don't worry. When you make them, only make the ones you like. Of course, it's amazing if you make all 12 because I already did the shopping list for you. But you could always give away. You could gift the ones that don't work for you. Just saying, that's always an idea. Or I have my membership site. If you haven't joined yet, I'll do a demo if I can toward the end if we have time, and you can sort by vegan there, or you could search recipes. Lots of options. Okay, let's see what's up. Rick says, I have 8 in my freezer right now, making ground beef stroganoff on Sunday. I love that. That is a stovetop meal. So a lot of these are crock pot, instant pot, but I do have stovetop, oven. I'm just starting with air fryer. Very cool. So some other options too, even grill. Let's see what else. Sherry, I tried, my kitchen is way too small, so still trying to figure that out. I understand. That's up. If you have a really tiny space, that could be hard. You know what, Sherry? You might want to even move to a dining room table. If you have a table, that would help because you don't need to do any cooking. You really don't need your stovetop. You do just need a surface where you have a cutting board, maybe your ingredients. A table might work really well. You'll have to go to your sink or trash can, but throwing it out there. Okay, let's see what else. Philip is a newbie. Welcome. Your life is going to change today. This is the moment. Write it in your diary tonight. The day my life changed. I met Kelly from the family freezer. All right, so we haven't started yet. We're just saying hello and welcoming to class. I'm hearing that everyone can hear me. They can see me. Nancy says this is her first class. Thank you, Nancy. Welcome. It is so nice to meet you. I love meeting new people. Hi, Terry. Hi, Sandy. Another Sandy. Hello, Becky, Dawn, Bonnie, Nicole, Diane. Oh, let me scroll back. There were a lot of people who joined. We had over 8,000 people sign up for today's class. Like, what? I wish you could all come. I wish I could even fit you in my house, but I wish you could all come and we could kind of hang out and do these in person. But I am really imagining you. Like, I feel your energy even from these comments on YouTube. So I'm here for you. I feel like you're here hanging out with me. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Hey, Connie, Annie, Susan, Vicky, Cheryl, Lucille, Norma. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I appreciate you so much. Charlotte said I watched for a couple of years, joined about a year ago, now a VIP. Welcome. Welcome to our VIPs. That's really next level of membership, and I love you, and I hope you love VIP as much as I do. It's so good. Okay, Patty, you've already done some of the recipes. You love them all. That's amazing. Rick made 4 batches. Okay, so we have a mix of people here today. We have some super fans who have been following along, have watched classes, have made the meals, and are here to encourage you if you're brand new. They're here, they're in the comments, and they're like, this works for me. Like, this lady's a little kooky, she likes to laugh, but we're making these meals and they work, and we're actually back again. So they're here to encourage you, and if you are new, I am pumped for you because this is amazing. Like, I feel very confident telling you that. It really is life-changing. It's so good. Carmen, you joined my membership last summer, haven't gotten to make any meals yet. Maybe now's the chance. There's nothing like a class to get you reinvigorated, remotivated to make some meals. So maybe you just need to pick that one recipe from today and make it this week. Okay, Karen, I love being a member. So many recipes, you can switch them up. Oh my gosh, we have so many of our members here today. That's so fun. I love when you guys even come to the free classes. Like, that's so great. It's so fun to hang out, isn't it? Annie loves the stands. Very cool. Hi, Joni. Hi, Gail. Hi, Diana. Hi, Kathleen. Nancy, Angel, Sue, Emily, Kendra, Lisa, Carrie, Pat, Tara, Philip. I feel like I have to say hi to everybody because Andy's going to make me start. My husband is here. All my kids are in school. We have 5 kids. They're all in school. Even our youngest is in preschool. So our house is very quiet, but Andy is here. He does all the tech. He does the cameras. He makes you can hear me in the mic. And he's telling me, like, Kelly, let's get this going. Let's get this started. The people are here. We want to make some meals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my iPad away. I'm going to start making meals. And then we will do Q&A. So I'll pull the iPad back. I'll jump back into your comments and make sure that when you leave here, you have all your questions answered and you are like, let's make some meals. I'm ready. Okay, so I think we're ready to get started. Okay, let's move the iPad. We're ready. Everybody's ready. Hey, thanks so much for joining me. I am Kelly from the Family Freezer, and I am so excited to show you how to make 12 vegetarian freezer meals in 1 hour. Are you looking for some new easy and healthy vegetarian recipes? If so, this is the class for you. After class, I'm going to send you this freebie. It's amazing. It has all of the super simple recipes, a full shopping list organized by aisle at the grocery store, even labels you can print and attach to your bags. I have them on stickers here. And so look for this in your email after class. Can you tell I'm excited? The best part of this class is that at the end, you're gonna feel this excited. You're going to feel motivated to make these meals. I hope you can stay the entire time because I'm going to share a deal with you at the end. It'll help you make your next batch of freezer meals. But I think we're ready to jump into recipe number 1. Let's do this, let's get started. It is a creamy white vegetarian chili. You're gonna see how quickly these meals come together. You'll understand how I can make 12 in 1 hour. And I'm just gonna start adding the ingredients. So what we need first is 1 diced onion. And if you've ever attended my classes before, you'll know I love these frozen diced onions. I buy them in these bags. They're very affordable, something like $1 a bag, maybe $1.20 a bag. Each bag has about 3.5 cups, which I think equals 3.5 onions. So I'm gonna empty this into the bowl, and anytime a recipe calls for an onion, I'm just gonna add a cup. No tears whatsoever. It's just gonna save so much time making these meals. So I have my onion. I'm gonna do a diced jalapeno. I diced this ahead of time. It's not gonna make this super spicy. I made this for my kids again last week. They loved it, they ate it no problem. Creamy, delicious, don't worry about that. I'm going to add cannellini beans. Now, you might be asking yourself, what's so great about these meals? What sets them apart? How is this lady making 12 in an hour? Well, the secret is that they are all frozen raw. No cooking ahead of time. Like, I literally have ingredients on my stovetop right now because I'm not using it today. We're just combining everything, no meat, but the beans, the sauces, the spices, the veggies, tons of veggies are going in these bags raw. You're gonna cook them later in your crock pot, your Instant Pot, your oven for the very first time, and they're gonna taste exactly like a freshly prepared meal. No leftovers here. These are delicious. You're going to love them. And I added my cannellini beans. They were drained and rinsed. I opened the cans ahead of time. I taught a class once when my can opener broke and I learned my lesson. So they're already open, drained and rinsed. And I'm gonna add my seasonings, which for this recipe include dried cilantro, cumin, salt, garlic powder, smoked paprika, chili powder. And they're all gonna go into this bag raw. Now, I've been making these meals for a long time, but I remember when I first started getting into freezer meals, maybe 15 years ago, I had a friend and she was like, Kelly, I've been making these freezer meals. On a weekend, I can prep all my meals for the month. And she would make all her meals. She would then eat them for the rest of the month, and she was saving so much time, saving money. And I thought, like, okay, that's amazing, but 1, how am I gonna find an entire weekend to make meals? 2, is your kitchen an epic disaster? Like, do you have pots and pans and everything everywhere? And it felt really intimidating to me. So that's like what's so amazing about these meals. They're all frozen raw. You don't have to worry about that. I'm making these in an hour. Honestly, even if you had 2 hours, like, you could make them so quickly, have so many fresh meals that are gonna taste delicious and just save you so much time. So I think you can understand that. The day of cooking, we will add vegetable broth and cream cheese. That's what makes this creamy. It's in your recipe, it's on your label, so you know exactly how to do that. But I think we are ready for recipe number 2. I am going to interrupt myself for 1 minute to tell you about our Freezer Meal Pro membership. If you're ready to change your life with my style of freezer meals that can be frozen raw, a membership to Freezer Meal Pro will be your best friend. I see Freezer Meal Pro as the most expansive collection of easy and healthy freezer recipes online, and the tools you need to actually make them work in your life. With Freezer Meal Pro, you can filter all of my healthy freezer recipes based on protein, keyword, cooking method, and more. You can even combine filters to drill down on the exact type of meals that you want to make. These are delicious meals that you are going to love sharing with your family and friends. One of my favorite features of Freezer Meal Pro is that you can auto-generate shopping lists that you can print or save to access later on your phone. I honestly think everyone can benefit from freezer meals, whether you're making them every week, every month, or even every few months. We have tens of thousands of members worldwide, and if you want to join us, just go to thefamilyfreezer.com/pro and enter this coupon code to save 20% off the one-time fee, no strings attached. Let's make our no-boil spinach and cheese stuffed shells. Recipe number 2, this is so good. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna freeze some mozzarella cheese, and I'm putting that in a separate bag. If you wanted to wait to buy it until the day of cooking, that would be fine. I bought all of my ingredients at once. I even bought the side dishes. Like, I bought everything, the broth that you had the day of cooking. I just wanted to be ready, so I just ordered everything at once. So I'm gonna freeze this mozzarella cheese in a bag so it is ready for the meal. I don't have to scramble the day of cooking. This is gonna be in a little, this is one of our little quart size bags, so I'm freezing it in there. And then we're gonna stuff these shells, and I already mixed the filling. This is baby spinach, so that's really fresh, delicious. Some part skim ricotta cheese, 8 ounces of shredded mozzarella cheese. We put some of it in that bag. The rest of it is in this disposable bag that we're gonna use like a piping bag. I also put in an egg, oregano, garlic powder, salt. These are so good. And what I'm gonna do is just pipe the filling into these shells. The shells are not cooked. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, is that really gonna work? Are they gonna taste good? Are they going to cook later? And the answer is yes. I would not be making them during this class if they weren't amazing. These are all recipes I have either written myself and made many, many times, or they could be, at this point we have hired 2 amazing talented chefs who help write recipes, but I try all of their recipes and taste test them and make my kids taste test all of them. And I have to tell you, the last time, we just recently had these shells again. I wanted to have them right before this class so they were fresh in my mind. And they were delicious. I mean, everyone had seconds. There were basically no leftovers, which is amazing. And I thought, I have to make these during class. Like, if there was any question of whether I should make them or not, I'm doing it because they're so good. And I'm putting them in the freezer bag. Now, if you wanted to put these in an aluminum pan, either aluminum or disposable, you could do that. The reason I'm doing the bag is because these can be cooked in the oven, or they can be cooked in your Instant Pot, which I think is so great. And the bag takes up less space in the freezer. So I think, like, might as well just freeze them in a bag, and then I can choose. I can always add them to a pan. That means I can use my regular baking pans, and it's not gonna be out of commission in the freezer while I'm waiting to cook it. All these meals can be frozen for up to 3 months. So in the meantime, these are just in bags, they're in the freezer, and then whenever I'm ready to cook it, I can always either pop them in a pan in the oven or put them in my Instant Pot. And what you add the day of cooking is sauce and a little bit of water so it's not too thick, and of course that mozzarella cheese that we are freezing separately. Now, if you haven't met me before, welcome, hello, I'm Kelly. I'm so happy you're here today. If you found me on Facebook or Instagram and just took a chance and signed up, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. Just to tell you a little bit more about myself, I've been making freezer meals for a very, very, very long time. I mean, maybe I'm just very old now. I hate to say that, but I started with these freezer meals 11 years ago. My oldest daughter was a baby. My second daughter, my oldest daughter was 2. My second daughter was a baby. And I just remember at the time, I felt like I had no time. I mean, I was working. I was taking care of our daughters. I was trying to keep my house semi-clean. I wanted to work out. I was trying to do laundry. I mean, it just felt like, even when I was cooking dinner, it was like, there's no time for the things I really want to be doing. My day is just so full, so packed. And I'm really good at organizing. I thought there has to be a way to make this work. Like, I have to come up with a solution. And at the time I had been making crockpot recipes. And I thought, look, these are going in my crockpot raw. Can I just put them in bags raw and cook them later? And it was this light bulb moment because I thought, wait a minute, if I'm not cooking dinner every night, I could be going on a run or a walk with a friend at dinner time. I could be playing with my girls at dinner time. I could be visiting my grandparents. I could greet my husband when he came home and be like, yay, Andy, it's so great to see you. You're the best. How was your day? And I just had this whole fantasy of what my life would be like if I had that extra hour at dinner time. And so I made a plan. I picked 5 recipes. I went to the grocery store and I made them that weekend. It took me 45 minutes. The next week we ate those meals. My life changed. I mean, it was incredible. It was so amazing. I can tell you that we have 5 kids now. We have this full freezer cooking business. My husband and I do it full time. And life is still super busy. I'm sure you can relate to that. And even though I have 5 kids, I'm sure there's people here who are retired who are gonna tell you life just gets busier. Like, there's just so much to do. So what I find is that these meals are the only thing that really work over time, work for those busy seasons of life. When you wanna eat healthy, you need a quick fix. It's like, this is your answer. So if you've never made them before, I'm excited for you. I think we're ready to move on to recipe number 3, and that is our Tuscan tortellini soup. I love this recipe. It is so good. We're going to add a jar of pasta sauce, and then I'll show you what else we're adding here. We're gonna add 5 ounces of baby spinach. It's the entire bag. Nothing is going to waste. It really cooks down in this recipe. You don't have to worry about it being too much. It's so good. Actually, so this recipe is on our membership site. We have a membership site called Freezer Meal Pro. And I wrote down, I printed out a review. So Susie said, yum. This is caps. Yum. I made this for dinner this evening and it was amazing. My husband and 2 young daughters are really picky when it comes to food, but they all had second helpings. As I was packing up the leftovers, my husband asked what I was doing with them. I said, saving them. And he said, oh, good, I want to eat it again tomorrow. So that's so good. I'm so glad that you can hear from someone else who's saying these meals taste good and work for them. So you know it's not just me. Let's add a can of cannellini beans, drained and rinsed. Add a little protein to this soup. And we need some veggies, right? So we have all of that spinach, but it's not enough. Let's add some more. Can you see all those carrots? All those green beans, they are fresh, they are healthy, they are delicious. These were actually baby carrots. I ordered my groceries online. The shopper told me they only had baby carrots. There were no other carrots in bags. I find that hard to believe, but it doesn't really matter, they'll work. And it means I didn't have to peel them when I was making this meal. I could just add them. So I told you how my life changed when I started making these freezer meals. And one, because I just got so much time back in my day, but also because it became a full-fledged business for us, for me and my husband. I started sharing on my blog the meals I was making and people were like, yes, please, like keep sharing them, because I wasn't alone. Everyone else needed easy and healthy meals that they could serve their family. Now today we have almost 400,000 email subscribers. I hope you're on our email list. I think you'll be added just because you joined this class. You're gonna love all the free recipes I send. This is our can of our 1 cup of diced onions. Let's add that to the bag. And we have over 100,000 members. Like, I can't even fathom that, of our membership site. We have over $1 million in cookbook sales. I was recently on the Rachel Ray Show. Yes, like Rachel Ray said my name. She knows, for a moment, she knew who I was and saw me. So I've been at todayshow.com, Costco Connection. I hope you get it. Like, this is legit. This is going on for a very, very, very long time. And it just is amazing. Like, I'm so filled with gratitude for you, for coming here, for supporting me today. If you're a member and you've been supporting us for years, like, thank you. I'm so happy that I get to like live my dream and like share my passion with you today. So thanks for being here. I think we have everything we need for our soup. The day of cooking, I'm going to add a carton of vegetable broth that's on your recipe and also some frozen cheese tortellini. It's just like a really hearty, delicious soup. My kids love this one. And oh, it's so good. Like you wouldn't even miss the meat. So we're not vegetarians. These are all vegetarian recipes that I'm making for you today. My family does eat meat, but it's always great when we can have those extra veggie-packed recipes. And I like making them for other people who are vegetarian and for maybe the people watching today who are either vegetarian themselves or their families. Let's do recipe number 4, which is our chickpea tikka masala. I love this recipe. It includes 2 cans of chickpeas. These are drained and rinsed. And I think this recipe is proof that all crock-pot recipes are not bland, they're not mushy, they don't all taste the same. I mean, this is an Indian recipe. I just did an Italian one. We have some Mexican meals here today. All different flavor influences, so they all taste different. I remember my daughter, my oldest daughter, told me there was a boy in her class, and when he comes home from school and he sees the crock pot cooking, he cries. I don't know if he like literally cried. It was like he cries and goes up to his room because he thinks it's gonna taste bad, and it's like a bad sign. So I feel terrible that that like impression is out there and people feel that way. Maybe you have a partner or a spouse who doesn't love crock pot recipes. I want you to tell them these are different. Like this lady is different. She really cares about taste. I'm only eating meals that are delicious, okay? I'm not gonna eat bland, mushy meals. We're gonna add a cup of frozen peas to this dish. So we have our chickpeas, we have our frozen peas. That's good. And then I'm going to add a can of unsweetened coconut milk. Oh, this is so delicious in this sauce. This is obviously a vegetarian meal with the chickpeas. If you wanted to, you could add chicken or do half chicken, half chickpeas. That's really good. Let's add some tomato sauce. We're gonna do 2 15-ounce cans of tomato sauce. Don't worry one bit about remembering these measurements. You're going to get your freebie after class. It's very detailed. I mean, I even explain, give you ideas like if you have leftover ingredients, what you could do with those. Although we don't have many leftovers today, but I really wanted this to work for you. Now, in this tikka masala, there's a little bit of honey. I had already pre-measured that in one of the cans. So just so later when you're looking at this recipe and you're like, Kelly did not put any honey. I did put the honey in. I just have to tell you because I didn't do it live in the moment. So that was in the can. And then I'm gonna add all our seasonings. There's a ton of them. There's curry powder, garam masala, onion powder, garlic powder, and salt. This is gonna be so flavorful. So besides varying the flavor of these meals, I also give you suggested side dishes with every recipe so that you know what to serve them with. This one says serve with rice. So you know exactly how to do it. Keep them varied, keep them tasty. And I will tell you, this is from my membership site. We had some great reviews. So many people love this meal. Teresa said this dish is delicious. It's the first freezer meal we made and are so pleased with how easy it was to put together and how good it tasted. Allison said this is delicious. Our whole family loved it. We'll definitely make a bigger batch next time. And Jane said, my husband and I had this last night for dinner. Absolutely loved it. So flavorful. I'm going to add some cauliflower to the leftovers tonight. Yum. Great idea. Love that. And I love sharing like these reviews from our membership site with you because it shows that obviously I love these meals, but other people love them too. And just like how you can make them work for you as well. So the chickpea tikka masala is done. I actually had a hard time picking those reviews because a lot of people left comments about that recipe. Like they love it on the membership site. Okay, let's move on. Recipe number 5. These recipes are just coming right together. It's our spiced butternut squash soup. I bought some pre-chopped squash. I really went back and forth on this. I couldn't decide if I wanted to chop a fresh one. You can do either or. If you couldn't find it, you can even use frozen squash. There really are so many options. I just decided this might be an easy example of how it comes together if you're intimidated by peeling a squash. Holidays with my family, it's that good. You can serve this for holidays. It's a can of diced green chilies. Let's add that in. We're gonna need a yellow onion. We'll use our frozen diced onions, another cup. We're using those up. Okay. And then we're going to add some more canned unsweetened coconut milk. It makes this really creamy. This does make it a vegan recipe, so if you're looking for some vegan meals, this would work. Does anybody love saving money? I mean, hello, I have 5 kids. Yes, I love saving money. So I went shopping for these ingredients. I spent $138, all the ingredients, all 12 meals, including the broth I was adding the day of cooking or anything else. There was something else I needed day of cooking. I think a jar of spaghetti sauce. I already bought that. It's in my pantry. So $138. I did the math. That is $11.52 per meal. Super affordable. $1.92 per serving. Like, you cannot beat that. You can't get a Big Mac for $1.92 today. I promise you. Like, this is just such an easy way to save money. I'm gonna add my seasonings to this recipe, including curry powder, garlic powder, cumin, pepper, salt. Okay. I'm debating whether I should tell you this, but we ordered Chinese food last weekend. We spent $94 on Chinese food. So $94 or $138 on 12 meals. Like, granted, we had the Chinese delivered. There probably was a tip included. There are 7 people in my family. Okay, I don't feel bad about it. I feel okay about it. And I feel extra okay about it because I have all of these meals. They're gonna be waiting in my freezer, and when you have that balance, because it's so expensive to eat out, the average American spends $3,000, average household, $3,000 a year eating out. So if you're able to eat at home more, if you're able to make these budget-friendly meals, it's a really easy way to save money. I am sure my family is spending more than $3,000 a year. I have 5 kids. But I feel good when I'm able to mix in these meals and able to save money. And it's like everything in balance, everything in moderation. That's really the way I live my life. So these meals help a lot. If you're trying to save money, I really recommend these. Let's move on. Recipe number 6 is our 3-bean chili. Oh my gosh, I wish I had a really good singing voice. Wouldn't that be an amazing talent? What if I just whipped out this great song? That'd be so cool. Okay, let's add our kidney beans. These are already drained and rinsed. I bought all of the pretty much all the canned goods at Aldi. I don't know if you have an Aldi, they're like a discount store. I love them for canned goods. They're just even cheaper than my local grocery store. This is black beans. You don't have to shop at Aldi. You can buy them all at your local grocery store. I don't know. I was like, I'm buying a lot of beans for these vegetarian meals. Let's see if I could save an extra 10 cents a can. So we have our pinto beans. This is 3-bean chili. It is delicious. It is hearty. It is flavorful. You are not going to miss the meat. A can of tomato sauce. This is over here. And diced tomatoes, undrained. They are all going into this bag. This was on our membership site. Pamela said, I'm making this again. My picky hubby really liked this, and I did too. It's a winner in my book and easy too. Thank you. Thanks, Pamela. I appreciate you took the time to let me know that you liked it. I'm so glad you did. We're gonna add our seasonings, which include a little bit of light brown sugar. I think it balances out the tomato sauce, just really makes it taste flavorful and delicious. We have chili powder, cumin, garlic powder, crushed red pepper flakes. So enough seasoning that it's flavorful and tastes good. None of that bland, mushy stuff, but not so spicy. I know some people are nervous about spices. I have 5 kids and they're eating this. So, and if you want to leave out the spices and taste test it and then add a little more pepper or red pepper, you can always do that. Like, I want these meals to work for you. I want you to love them. I want you to make them again. Those are the best recipes, right? This is everything that goes in this bag. I'm gonna tell you, so Kara just emailed me last week. She said, hi Kelly, I decided to go ahead and try your membership. I put together freezer meals for the week yesterday. I cannot even describe how good that felt. I now have hope of getting to enjoy our evenings and the confidence that my family is eating well. The ability to print off a grocery list and not have to utilize the mental energy to create and organize a list has taken a tremendous amount of pressure off my brain. And if I can lose some weight in the process, that's a definite bonus. Thank you for taking the time to put these meals together and show busy moms just how easy it is. If I can do this, I'm confident anyone can. That was from Kara. Kara, thank you. If you are here today, you are rocking it. I love that you already have your meals ready for the week. Thanks for letting me know and for maybe encouraging everybody else who's here. that they can do it too, and just how it's gonna feel so good. So it feels good to eat healthy, it feels good to eat homemade meals, and just to know that you're organized and that you don't have to worry about that. It's like, that's done. My brain has a million other things to worry about or think about. So just takes that off your plate. Let's move on. Recipe number 7 is our Southwest rice and bean soup, which calls for black beans. These are drained and rinsed. We need a can of diced tomatoes. These are undrained, just the whole can. And we gotta put some veggies in here. I love all the fresh veggies in these meals. This one calls for a diced red pepper and a green pepper. Eat the rainbow, right? They look so good. I have a good tip for you if you're cooking for less people. So obviously I'm cooking for a crowd every night. But if you only are cooking for yourself, or if you have a spouse or a partner and you're thinking, I don't really need 6 servings in every meal, what do you recommend? What I would recommend is to take one recipe, split it into 2 freezer bags. Because that way you're still gonna use all the ingredients. You're still gonna use that whole can of beans. You're still gonna use the whole can of tomato sauce. In this case, you can still use the green pepper, the red pepper. You just split them and you end up with double the meals. The cooking time is the same. It's just like so simple. Let's add a cup of corn. And I'll show you, we're gonna use the rest of this corn actually in another recipe later. Let's add a cup of corn to our soup. And then we need, this is kind of a hack. So I'm adding this packet, it's a quinoa and brown rice packet. I started doing this when I found it at Costco in bulk. And it just makes the soup that much heartier, flavorful, delicious. I remember I made this for my parents once, and my mom's like, what was in that soup? Like, was that quinoa? Like, yeah. So it's quinoa and brown rice, and I'm just dumping it in here. I wrote in your recipe, you could do a 1/4 cup dry wild rice. So if you can't find this, if you don't like it, you can use dry wild rice. It's raw, it goes in here dry, it cooks great. I've done that in many other soups. But I love those packets if you can use them. And we have tons of seasonings, including chili powder, cumin, onion powder, garlic powder, oregano, salt, and pepper. And then the day of cooking, we will add our vegetable broth, a whole carton. Along the lines of making these for less people, there was a time when my grandparents were living at home by themselves, and that's what I did for them. So I picked 10 recipes, I split them. So I ended up with 20 freezer bags, just less servings in each bag. I kept some of the extra meals in my freezer so that I didn't take over their freezer, and I would just bring them to them. And that way they didn't have to worry about meals. But it just works so well to just split these meals into 2 bags if you want less servings. Let's move on to recipe number 8. Oh wait, whoa. Hold up. Southwest rice and bean soup. We have some comments from the membership site. Susan, I made this today. It was a winner for all. And Dawn said, delicious. Made this last night. Used a 1/2 cup of wild rice mix and veggie broth. It was wonderful, full flavor. The rice looked like ground beef, so it felt like a sinful dish. Okay, Dawn, good job. Recipe number 8 is our easy tomato soup. I can tell you this is from our membership site, and it is 5 stars. This is one of the chefs who we hired. She is super talented, wrote this recipe. I have challenged these chefs, write them. All can be frozen raw. All super simple, mostly 10 ingredients or less, healthy, delicious. Like, I've been writing the recipes myself for, 11 years now, but having some chefs to partner with me on these recipes takes them to the next level. Because I love writing recipes, but it's like if you have someone who's gone to school for this, who really excels at it, these recipes are so good. This easy tomato soup is one of my favorites. And one of the really cool things is it includes a can of beans. So I'm like, only a chef would think of this. Like, I think I have good ideas, but only a chef would do this. So you put in the whole can. It even has the liquid. So this is not drained and rinsed. It's just the lid off. It's all the liquid because that's gonna give this a creamy texture. So if you're a vegetarian, if you're making this for a vegetarian, they're gonna love it. You don't need any milk. You don't need any cream. You just use those beans, and then if you puree this with a countertop blender or an immersion blender, it makes it so creamy and like rich, and you're like, what is in that? Like, is that half and half? And it's like, no, it is a can of beans, like, tricked ya. So, we need our onion. You're gonna love this. I serve this with grilled cheese soup. I honestly cannot wait to eat it again. I love this. I made it for my dad. He loved it. He's like me, he like loves tomato soup and sandwiches, so maybe I'll have him over and we'll eat this soup. And then we need our seasonings, which include 2 bay leaves, salt, dried thyme, garlic powder, crushed red pepper flakes. You just add water the day of cooking. That's perfect for the Instant Pot. That's why I wait to add a lot of liquid to these meals, so that if you're making in the Instant Pot, you won't have to worry about the burn error. You're adding that extra liquid. And if you're making them in your crock pot, you won't have to thaw them so much. They're not gonna be this solid frozen block. You'll be able to just add that extra liquid the day of cooking. And I already have mine waiting in the pantry, so there's no reason not to wait. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. I should probably point out these work so well for different diets. So today I'm making all vegetarian recipes. My membership site has like hundreds of recipes. We have a lot of meat dishes, but they work. A lot of them are naturally gluten-free, naturally dairy-free. We have diabetic-friendly meals, keto, paleo, whole food, Whole30. So many options that I think whatever diet you are on, or your family members or your friends, you're going to find meals that will work for you. One of my very best friends was pregnant this past year. She's gluten-free, dairy-free. I had no problem making freezer meals for her. Like these really work for every diet. Like I know they'll work for you. I think we have everything. I think we're already ready for recipe number 9. You can see how quickly these come together when you don't have to do any cooking ahead of time, right? Like forget about those meals. I'm only making Kelly's recipes from now on. Recipe number 9 is our hibachi noodles. My 11-year-old daughter is obsessed with this recipe. This is like her favorite recipe on a weekend afternoon. She's like, can you make that for lunch? Like, please. I'm like, oh yeah. It's easy enough. So we're gonna freeze even the spaghetti. Like we're putting it all in the bag, and then we're just gonna cook it later. Okay, so I'm gonna try not to make a mess with this. Do you know they now sell spaghetti that's like pot-sized spaghetti? So it's small. I wouldn't, if you bought that, if I was, cool, I bought that, I wouldn't have to do this right now. But, I probably got this for $1 at my local grocery store. So just a regular 1-pound box of spaghetti. It's dry. I'm gonna freeze it right in this bag, right with all the other ingredients. And then later you cook this on your stovetop or in your Instant Pot. And it is delicious. I love this recipe. I can't tell you how many times I've made it. Here's what we have to add. So in here I have a diced green onion. It is worth buying the green onion. If I could get away with the frozen onions, I would. This is worth it. Like buy it, it's delicious. And then we have 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, as well as our seasonings, which are garlic powder and salt. I have also made this with peanut butter. It's such a fun twist. So if you wanted to substitute peanut butter for the butter, you could. It's really fun. But when you do the actual unsalted butter, it tastes more like those hibachi noodles from a hibachi restaurant. So I'm doing butter. In this one, I actually just realized, so I was wiping my hands on my apron. I should point it out to you. So I can stand back, show you, I'm wearing this apron. My mom actually made this for me. So my mom and I have made so many freezer meals over the years. I remember once I was pregnant, we were making a bunch of meals, and I was using so many paper towels. Like my mom was like, Kelly, you're using an entire roll of paper towels. What are you doing? But I just couldn't help it. It's like you're cleaning up, you're wiping out your cups, your measuring spoons, your hands, and you're like, oh, I don't know. So she had this genius idea of sewing a towel onto the apron. And so this is so great. I always wear mine when I'm making my freezer meals. My mom ended up opening an Etsy shop. So if you want one, you could actually buy one. The link is in your freebie. She's only one person. She frequently sells out, but if you can get one today, they're so great. They make good gifts. I always wear mine. So what do we need for our hibachi noodles? We need soy sauce. We need 1/4 cup of soy sauce. This is all frozen raw. It's all going into the bag. And then we need some teriyaki sauce. Let's see if we have, I'm looking for a tablespoon. Maybe, oh, here we go. It's sitting right at the top of my sink, was the one from the oil. Okay, we need 3 tablespoons of teriyaki sauce. Some of these, so I already had this in my refrigerator, but even if you have to buy it, it would be worth buying it because you're gonna want to make this again. You're gonna be like my 11-year-old and be like, that is so good. I love that recipe. So we have this, and we need sesame oil. Yum. Does anyone else love their Instant Pot? Are you Instant Pot lovers? I really like using mine when I forget to use my crock pot. It's one of those, oh my gosh, it's 3 o'clock. What am I having for dinner? I have no plans. I really do not want to order out. And I'm like, oh, I have those freezer meals. I could put it right in my Instant Pot. It's the best. So a lot of these recipes can be made in the Instant Pot, like this one. I always write the Instant Pot directions if I can. A lot of them are crock pot as well. We need some mirin. This is like a, I believe like a Japanese sweetened sake. All right, we need how much of this? We need 2 tablespoons. Oh, that's easy. A lot of these are 2 tablespoons. All right. We already added all of our seasonings. The only thing else we need are some jarred minced ginger, just 1 teaspoon. I'm gonna add that. That's a really delicious part of this recipe. I think I have everything else. Yep, we're good. Let's move this to the back and move on. We're gonna make our soup. Recipe number 10, pasta e fagioli. Healthy, delicious. You're gonna love this one. We need a cup of onion. I wonder if this is our last onion. Let's see. Oh no, we have 1 more. So it looks like we have just enough onion for these 2 meals. Of course, I washed my hands before class, so I'm just gonna get that in there. We need 2 carrots that are diced. Let me bring everything up here. We have 2 carrots that are diced, a rib of celery diced. I have some suggestions in your recipe what to do with the celery if you buy an entire stalk and don't want to eat it with peanut butter. We add a can of San Marzano style crushed tomatoes. I Googled this for you. So I'm like, what is the difference between San Marzano style and regular? Because I worked with a chef for this recipe and she told me to make it with this and I did, and it's amazing. And the difference is they are actually plum tomatoes. So they're a little bit sweeter than regular crushed tomatoes, and they're a little bit almost thicker, not as watery. Delicious in recipes that are like saucy. So that's why I use it also in the tomato soup. I really love it in this dish. We need a can of cannellini beans. These are drained and rinsed. Dump those in. And our seasonings are parsley, salt, garlic powder, black pepper. I don't know about you, but I always feel better when I know I'm eating homemade meals most nights of the week. And these freezer meals are what make that possible. Because I'm sure people are like, Kelly, how are you cooking dinner? Like, you have a business, you have 5 kids, like, how are you not insane? And it's these freezer meals. And they're like, oh, that's right. Oh, your job is making freezer meals. It all makes sense now. Like, yeah, that's my secret. So we have this. The day of cooking, we add water, and then you add some uncooked ditalini pasta. This is such a good soup. I'm definitely making this ASAP. I already bought a loaf of Italian bread because my kids just go crazy about soup and bread together. Just a really simple, delicious weeknight dinner. I think we have everything we need for the soup. It's really simple and really, really tasty. Our last crock-pot Instant Pot meal is a vegetarian tortilla soup. I love this recipe. It includes carrots, so it's extra healthy. You gotta get some fresh veggies in there. And I'll show you those. I don't want you to think just because I already chopped them up that I'm not including veggies. They're in here. And we're also going to use the rest of our frozen corn. We don't have to put that back in the freezer and forget it's even in there. Let's use it today. A can of drained and rinsed black beans, a little added protein. We need the last of our diced onion. That goes in here, so we used all of those up. I love, when I'm writing recipes, when I'm planning freezer meal prep sessions, I'm always trying to use all of the ingredients. I don't want anything to go to waste. It's like I want to make the most of it. So let's add that. We're gonna do 2 teaspoons of this. This is a can of chipotle chilies and adobo sauce. So I'm only adding the sauce to this. And in your recipe, I have some other suggestions what you could do with the leftovers. I don't want these to go to waste. You could just put them in a freezer bag so that you can add them to meals as you go. The chili, the 3-bean chili, if you could dice a couple of these up, put them in your chili, it'd be delicious. Like, I have some ideas for you because this is a great addition. Really adds extra flavor to your meals. I have a can of crushed tomatoes. These are just the regular ones. I don't think we need the San Marzano style. I bought these at Aldi. They're probably like $1 compared to $4. So, I don't know, save a little bit of money, and that's just what I found at Aldi. So, that's what I got. And our seasonings include dried cilantro, salt, garlic powder, cumin, chili powder. The day of cooking, we'll add some vegetable broth and water. That'll be the main liquid in this meal. And then the tortillas in the tortilla soup are crushed tortilla chips. How smart is that? So you just crush them up and cook them in the soup. And then when you have leftover chips in your bag, you can serve them with the chips. So if you're cooking for kids, they can like crush them up, they can scoop them in. It's just a really fun meal. I think we have all of our ingredients in here. You might be worried about freezer space. I know that can hold people back from making meals. I remember when I was pregnant with my third daughter, I made 28 freezer meals. Like, I was such an overachiever. I made 28. We had an extra refrigerator freezer in our basement. I just emptied that out and I fit 28 meals in there. So you can do that. Like, these bags don't take up a lot of space. They stack. If you have an extra freezer, maybe that's for your meals. But even if you just have your regular fridge freezer, I want you to be able to fit 5 meals in there. Like, this is time, okay, this is time for tough love. I say this with kindness, but you need to open up that freezer and you need to clean it out. And you might be dreading it, because I would be dreading it, but there's stuff in there that's expired, or something that you bought and it's like those dino nuggets that nobody likes, or some kind of meat that maybe has freezer burn and you're not gonna cook it. So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna throw it away. You're gonna say, Kelly said it was okay. I can get rid of this. And then you're gonna have space for these freezer meals and this life you want. Do not let your freezer hold you back from that. Like, this is time. Today is the time. This is it. You are ready. You are here today. No more excuses. And our last meal is a lasagna. And we're freezing it raw. We're not slaving over the stovetop to make this. You might think lasagna needs meat to be tasty. That is not true. It's so good, just like this. All we're gonna do is layer our pasta sauce with a no-boil lasagna noodle. And we have a cheese filling. So I created the cheese filling with 2 eggs, part skim ricotta cheese, some shredded mozzarella cheese, and the seasonings were parsley, salt, and pepper. And I also did some diced baby spinach to use up some of that spinach we bought for the shells. And it just adds extra veggies to this. Even if you serve it with a salad on the side, like, it can't hurt to add spinach. Cooked spinach is delicious. It's so good. Adds extra flavor. This is another one of those recipes on my site that everybody loved, and people were like, I didn't think it could be that good without meat. And it's like, yeah, it is. So we already have our pasta sauce. We're putting on our noodles, and then we're gonna do the cheese sauce, and we're just gonna kind of like layer this in our pan and until it's full, really. That's like, there's no other secret. I know someone's probably asking about, I didn't point them out when I was using them, but our bags and stands. So those are all Family Freezer brand. We have our own bags and stands. Yeah, like, we're legit. We have a real company that makes freezer meals. And I have tried so many reusable bags over the years. I spend so much money trying to find something I could reuse, not just throw away every time. They either weren't the right size, or they were too thick, they were hard to seal, a lot of them were too small, so many issues with them. And we got to a point where my husband, Andy, was like, Kelly, you're gonna have to make your own. So we were able to find a manufacturer who could make them for us. We sell them on our website. There's a link in your freebie if you want to buy them. If not, the disposable bags work just fine. Don't let that hold you back from making these meals either. But if you're ready for that next level and you're like all in and you want the bags, I want you to know that they are available, and the link is in your freebie. The same thing with the stands. So the stands hold the bags upright. You saw as I was filling them, especially those meals with the tomato sauce, it is very helpful to have the stands. It's not necessary You don't need anything special to make these meals. You need a cutting board, a knife, that's it. But if you want to have something, the stands are my number one, just because they keep the meals from dumping all over the floor. Unfortunately, that's happened to me like way too many times where the bag, I'm like filling it great, I'm feeling good, and then it's like slumps and dumps. And just, I'm crying and my day is ruined because I made a huge mess and I didn't save myself any time. So it's just a really easy way. The stands just hold them upright, and they're really easy to clean. You can rinse them off. You can put them in the top of the dishwasher. All right, we're almost done with this. I think I have one more layer of cheese sauce here. Again, all the links are in your freebie. After class, I send you the freebie, and it has all of the recipes, the full shopping list. If you don't see it, go to your spam folder. I promise it is there. You're gonna love it. You want all those free recipes, the shopping list, the labels, and as well as the links. You could get my mom's apron, the bags, the stands. It's all there, I promise. It's super organized, like just as organized as I am. That freebie is super organized. I think that's our last. This is all we can fit in here. We're at the bottom here. I'm just gonna put the rest of the sauce, and then I'm gonna do the final bit of the mozzarella cheese. And this is our lasagna. I don't know about you, but when's the last time you spent 5 minutes making a lasagna? This would be a good one. You serve this to guests, okay? And they're gonna think you were cooking for like an hour. And in reality, you had froze this ahead of time, but you don't tell them that. You're just like, oh, no problem. Like, I love like spoiling you. I like making meals. And you don't tell them. In reality, you had this all done ahead of time. It was a cinch. And you just like popped it in the oven. But it's gonna taste so good. People won't know that. They're not gonna think that this was a freezer meal, or that it really was such a shortcut. That's what's so great about these meals. Sorry about that. I'm gonna put this on, and then all I have to do is seal up all of the bags. I'll show you how I do that. It's actually like really simple. You don't have to worry about freezer burn. I know often people are worried about that, but I find it's not an issue. For this meal, I am doing just a layer of plastic wrap and foil. Even on the recipe, I write on it, take off the plastic wrap before cooking. I don't want you to forget that. And that's on your label too, if you end up using the printable labels. And then this is already pre-labeled. It's on our foil. And this just goes right in our freezer. I actually have I have a chest freezer in my garage now. I think now when you have a freezer business, you need an extra freezer. But I have that freezer so I can put these in there later. But I'll show you how to seal these meals. Okay, let's just take it off the stand. Whenever you're sealing them, you want to seal across the top until you're like 2 to 3 inches from the end. Then you're gonna squeeze the air out, kind of roll it, and seal the rest of the way. That way there's no air in here, and you can pat this and you can stack these in your freezer. Let me show you one more, but then maybe my husband Andy would be willing. Andy could finish sealing these and putting them in our freezer, because I want to show you our membership site. So again, we're just sealing it most of the way. Make sure you really feel that seal. Wait, hold on, I can feel something in here. Open it up. Sometimes you get like a little bit of seasoning in there. Okay. And then you squeeze the air out, kind of roll it. Don't be too aggressive that the tomato sauce comes out, and seal the rest of the way. I want to show you our membership site. It is one of a kind. If you've never seen it before, you need to see how it works to really understand. Our current members here will tell you about it, and they also, it's a refresher if you did join. But I'm gonna quickly grab my laptop, grab my other mic, and just show you how it works.
This is Freezer Meal Pro. Yay! You can log in and see all of my easy and healthy recipes that can be frozen raw. And I just want to show you how I would use it to plan my next group of freezer meals. So there's so many search options. Since I just taught you about a vegetarian group of meals, vegetarian class, let's look for vegetarian and see what we end up with. So we can search by protein. We have over 100 vegetarian recipes. And I'm just looking at the photos right now. I'm like, what jumps out at me? What looks good? This honey sriracha chickpeas looks amazing. I'm looking at the photos. Okay, let's just go back up. My heart is saying honey sriracha chickpeas and broccoli. I love this recipe. It's so easy. So you just look super simple ingredients, exactly how to freeze it for later. Can be cooked on the stovetop or in the Instant Pot. For full nutritional info. Let's add this to our group. I would make these next month. Meals to make next month. And I'll show you some other search features. There's a ton of them. Let's say, okay, so I used celery during this class, talked about options if you don't want to have leftovers. Let's say you bought a big stock of celery. You're like, what am I going to do with this? Am I eating it with peanut butter every day of the week? Or can I make another freezer meal? We can look at the photos. There are here's the soup. There are some vegetarian options. I'm going to do the chicken noodle soup just because we're not vegetarians. I know my family loves this recipe. It's so good. You can see it calls for 2 ribs of celery. It says exactly how to freeze it for later. You can cook it in your crock pot or your Instant Pot. Full nutritional info. I'm going to make this next month. And I'll show you some other search options. We have a ton of different ways to search for your absolute perfect recipes, including diet. There's dairy-free, diabetic, gluten-free, ketogenic, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, whole food, which is like Whole30. Cookbooks, if you have my cookbooks and are looking for a certain recipe. Cooking method, we air fryer, crock pot, grill, Instant Pot, oven, stovetop. These are your 15-minute dinners. Protein, beef, chicken, lamb, pork, seafood, turkey, vegetarian. I showed you the vegetarian. If chicken was on sale and you eat chicken, or if ground beef is on sale, you eat beef, this is where you would search to save money. Cuisine, American, Asian, Caribbean, Indian, Italian, Mediterranean, Mexican, Middle Eastern, North African. So many options. You are not eating bland crockpot meals here. None of that. Online class, even today's class, you could see what I made. Let's go to diet. I know a lot of people are eating gluten-free. Let's see what we can find. So if I would search for gluten-free recipes, I could just look at the photos. I think I already know what I want to make, but hey, let's scroll down a little bit. Okay, let's go up. I want to make this Mexican casserole. It's a 1-pot meal. Even the quinoa is frozen raw. It's like dry quinoa. This has ground beef. We didn't do any ground beef meals today because it's vegetarian, but like I said, my family does eat meat. So the simple ingredients, how to freeze it, cook it later in your crock pot or your Instant Pot. Let's add this to our next month group. And then I'll show you what I really, really, really love about this site. As if the search features weren't enough. You can go to your recipe collection. So these are the ones that I made. You can increase the servings if you're cooking for more people. You can decrease if you're cooking for less people. And you can duplicate recipes. So if I wanted to use up the rest of that celery, I could make 2 freezer bags of this chicken noodle soup. It's good for 3 months. I might as well make 2 bags. We'll eat it. And the same thing goes for this Mexican casserole. If I bought ground beef on sale, I would make 2 of those. It takes like 5 extra minutes and would just mean that I had all 5 of these meals ready to freeze. So let's go to our shopping list. Now, I don't know about you, but I hate writing shopping lists. So I just click that button and I have a full shopping list organized by aisle at the grocery store. It's amazing. Woo! Let's click off our seasonings. I already have these, so I would not need to buy them at the store. And the same goes for that celery. And we can save those changes because if I was going to access this later on my phone, I would just want it saved so I would know what I had. Okay, we're going to regenerate the shopping list. And then, let me show you this. This is so cool. Oh my gosh. All right, print. We have options. We print the shopping list, which is great. Go right to the store. We're like ready to make our meals. Or we can, I'm not actually going to print it. So let's go to print the recipes. They're all printer friendly. They're black and white. exactly what you need to make these meals. You can even cut and tape these labels onto your bags. Like, I would be ready to make 5 more meals. That just took me, less than 5 minutes. It's amazing. If you haven't joined yet, all you need to do is go to thefamilyfreezer.com/pro. Oops, I gotta spell it right. Thefamilyfreezer.com/pro, because you will find you can join for a one-time fee. That's right, one-time fee, $97, no strings attached. You can use this over and over and over again to make freezer meals. It's so great. You can read what our members are saying. We have so many, and I know a lot of them are here today. Thank you guys. I love you. You're the best. And, read more about me, how I fell in love with freezer meals, everything that you need to know to decide if Freezer Meal Pro is going to work for you. Obviously, I think you're going to be obsessed with it. It's so great. Let me point out, we have a bonus. You get all of my cookbook ebooks. So if you log in today, you have access to 20 instant downloads. These are recipes, shopping lists, labels, ready to print, ready to go. Next time I write a new ebook, it'll also be added. So that is a great bonus. Let's join now so I can show you. Again, this is a one-time fee, $97, totally worth it. When I'm planning ahead, I find I save at least $200 a month at the grocery store. To be honest, I haven't calculated that for a long time. It is probably way more now because of inflation. So whether you use this once or you use this every month, every week, you're going to save so much money. To thank you for being here today, you're going to save even more with coupon code VEGETARIAN. Yay! 2 days only. Use the code VEGETARIAN to save 20% off the one-time fee, bringing it down to $77.60. This is such a good deal. If you can join in the next 2 days, please do. Use coupon code VEGETARIAN. If you already joined and you paid the $97, do not feel bad. You jumped on it. You're already going to be saving time and money. Give yourself a pat on the back. And maybe you need, for budgeting reasons, to wait another month. No problem. $97 is going to be worth it. But if you can join during these 2 days, I want you to save money. Come on. I want you to get this deal. Use coupon code VEGETARIAN. Save 20%. Get in for $77.60. I know someone's going to email me next week. They're going to be like, hey, Kelly, do you have any sales? Do you have any coupon codes? Unfortunately, I'm going to have to say no because I can only do this during my classes. So 2 days only, vegetarian, 20%, proceed to checkout. Now's the time. This is it. This is your chance to save, okay? Make sure you use your correct email address. That's where I'm going to email you after you make your purchase. Your username and password, write these down so you don't forget. Put in your credit card info and place your order. And then you're going to check your email address because that's where I'm going to send you your info to log in and you can start using Freezer Meal Pro today.
Let's jump right into Q&A. If you have questions, this is your chance. I want to answer whatever your questions may be so that you leave here with everything answered, ready to make these meals. Add them in the chat. I'll answer whatever I can. I saw someone had asked before about the order of ingredients that I added to the bag. They said, do they need to be added in that order? No, they really don't. I mean, they can be added in any order. Sometimes when I'm making a freezer meal with meat, I will add the meat to the bag last. And my idea with that is if you have a lot of veggies and they're all stacked and the meat's at the top and you freeze it, then when I turn it upside down, I dump it into my Instant Pot or my crock pot, then it's like the first item at the bottom. It really doesn't matter. I honestly don't think it matters, but I do that typically when I'm using meat. But otherwise, all the other ingredients, any order. Let's see if there are other questions. Let's see. How many vegan meals are in the Pro membership site? I don't know off the top of my head. It's less than vegetarian. I mean, it has taken us years. I have been dreaming of teaching a vegetarian class for years. And I was like, I need more vegetarian recipes. And very intentionally built up that those group of recipes on our site. So the number of vegan is definitely less than vegetarian. We are working to add more, and I hope that you can adjust the vegetarian recipes as well. But yeah, we're still working on that. We're really working on like building up the library. So it's so big now, but I just have these visions of it becoming like, I don't want to say like the go-to site on the internet for freezer meals, because I already think it's there. Like I already think that it is the site of no-cook freezer meals. This is the place to find them all and just have the best search features. But I do have visions of, as that library just grows and grows and grows, just how amazing it could be. So let's see if there are other questions. There was one about using tofu, maybe like even other types of like plant-based meat substitutes. We do have some and we're adding more. I'm trying to think of what it's called. There's one Indian one that I just tried recently that was so good. It's not tofu. It's something else. If you want to email me after, I'll look it up for you. But it was so good. So we're adding more. We just don't have a lot. And like I said, my family's not vegetarian or vegan, so we don't make as many of those meals. But it's totally possible. We make them. Okay. So there was a question about soy sauce, if you're allergic to soy sauce. I should mention too, if you are gluten-free, make sure the soy sauce says gluten-free on it. Sometimes that's a hidden source of gluten. But even if you're allergic to soy and can't eat soy, coconut aminos are a great substitute and can be substituted 1-to-1. So a quarter cup of soy sauce would be a quarter cup of coconut aminos. Really simple substitute. So Martha noticed the kitchen. I know, this is our new kitchen. We're so excited about it. We just love our new kitchen. It's so fun, especially when you're a freezer meal business. Like this is your business, is your kitchen. To have a new kitchen, it's so great. Thanks for noticing. I don't know, maybe this is most, I don't want to cut you off. I'll see if there's like any other, it seems like a lot of people, a lot of questions were answered. Someone did say between Freezer Meal Pro and VIP, the only thing so Freezer Meal Pro is our main membership. When you upgrade to VIP, you get monthly recipes. So if you have Pro and you're ready for that next level, I really want you to get VIP. It's like so good. It's just amazing. What else? Are you using a special crock pot? I'll show you. Why don't I go ahead and do a demo? If you have lingering questions, email me after. But why don't I do a demo and just show you how to cook these in the crock pot and Instant Pot. Let me put the iPad down. Here is how you would actually cook the meals. Now, Andy's left out a vegetarian tortilla soup. I'll quickly show you how you can do it in the crock pot or the Instant Pot. This can be cooked in both. It says right on the label. Let's do our crock pot. So, okay, let's get in the mindset. It's morning. We're like, okay, what are we gonna have later for dinner? Oh, I made those freezer meals amazing. Like, thank you, past self. This is gonna be so great. You go to your freezer. This might need to be slightly thawed so you can throw it in if you didn't remember to thaw it overnight. Just might be like a solid block. But anyway, you could dump this into your crock pot and it needs 4 cups of vegetable broth, 1 cup of water, and you add the crushed tortilla chips in here. And this is cooked on low for 4 to 6 hours. So in the morning, you're not opening any cans, you're not getting dirty, you don't need an extra like 20 minutes to get it into your crock pot. Mine's a timer, so I'm putting it on low for, let's say, 4 hours. It'll just sit on warm for the rest of the day. That's no problem at all. I come home, my dinner is ready. We maybe do some cheese on the top, chips for my kids, and we're just like, yes, I am winning at life. Like, this is so great. We're eating homemade meals with such little effort. For the Instant Pot, this, for me personally, this is me like 3 o'clock. Oh my gosh, what's for dinner? I forgot. I don't want to go to the store. I don't want to order pizza. Oh my gosh, I have a freezer meal. Like, yes. Okay, I got my freezer meal. Again, you can add this frozen as long as it fits. Make sure it's not a frozen block. You could have thawed it if you remembered. Maybe I freeze this one like in the door of my freezer so it's more this shape. I put it in here. For the Instant Pot, it says to add that broth and water, the 4 cups of broth, the 1 cup of water. Pressure cook for 15 minutes. So I'm just putting back on the lid. Putting on seal, pressure cook 15 minutes, natural release, really simple. I don't use fancy buttons on the Instant Pot. Keep it simple, just like all my recipes. It'll work with any pressure cooker that you have. So, and these are really cook very quickly because they are vegetarian meals. So 15 minutes, natural release, and then has you stirring in the crushed tortilla chips before serving. And they soften up and they're really, really good. Add a little bit of salt to the dish, which I love. I think that's it. Hopefully you can imagine how these meals can change your life. I appreciate you for taking time out of your day. I have a couple of last shout outs. I had some people who messaged me recently. Suzanne said Freezer Meal Pro is a must, not only for busy families, but for anyone who wants to eat healthy, delicious meals. It's a well-organized site that allows you to choose your cooking method, select your protein or veggie, and save your favorite dishes. In addition, you can click a button to half, double, triple your serving and print out a grocery list and labels for your freezer bags. It's simply genius. Thank you, Suzanne. Phyllis said, I'm a certified nutritional counselor and have tried many different diets and meal plans over the years. Being a part of Freezer Meal Pro is one of the best decisions I've ever made. There's so much variety. Everything I've made so far has been yummy. Yay, Phyllis. And Sue said, I love how I can pick and choose what I want to prepare, and Freezer Meal Pro site generates a grocery list. What a time saver. I've tried other freezer meal recipes. Many of them just don't taste good. Everything we tried from Freezer Meal Pro has been delicious. Yes, right? This tastes good too. So I just can't tell you, so many people message me, email me, thank you. Like that really motivates me to keep going. I can't wait. Like email me back, respond to my email, send me your success story. I can't wait to hear from you. Thank you so much for taking this time out of your day to attend my class, and I'll see you next time.